Welcome back to the How Magic Works series. This is video number 2. Last time I recorded a video on the ethics of magic and spellcasting and the various forms and traditions and how each tradition does impact on the ethics behind it. Hello. Welcome to the Reuben Lyran Healer channel. I am your host, Reuben Lyran Healer, and this week I will be talking about the Witch's Pyramid, or the Magician's Pyramid as it is sometimes referred to. So, if you have an interest in spiritual subjects, if you have a big interest in witchcraft, then please stick around and check out some of the other videos, because I have quite a few of those floating around on this beautiful platform, which is YouTube. So please do check it out, and I am on other social media as well, although this is one of the favourites. If you're not subscribed already, please do hit that subscribe button, because that really helps out the channel and helps us to grow and helps other people to see us. And please do leave a couple of comments if you have something interesting to say, if you have some questions, or if you have some insights which I've not mentioned or you'd like to elaborate on, then please do leave a comment. And please also give this video a like if you feel moved to do so. Thank you. Ooh, and look what arrived, which is my grimoire, my new grimoire arrived off of Amazon. So if anyone's interested in a grimoire like this, I'll leave a link for you. Not because I'm promoting it, because I'm not promoting it. It's just in case anyone likes this sort of grimoire. So I shall be doing videos soon on my process, and I'll try to give you some videos as I fill in the pages with some of my magical knowledge. Okay, but on to this week's video. So in this week I will be talking about the Magician's Pyramid, as I said. So this is all to do with 4 magical factors which must always be taken into consideration. So this is to know, to will, to be silent, and to dare. Or not specifically in that order. To know, to will, to dare, to be silent is more of an accurate order, but I don't think it really matters. The main point is that with these 4 magical factors, or 4 blocks which build up our magical pyramid, or make our magic a success, these 4 blocks, they need to be in balance. Each one on their own is not good enough. Sure, we all may know A, B, C, or D about magic, so we may know this, that, and the other about magical subjects and spellcasting, crystals, trees, etc., deities. We may know A, B, C, D, but just knowing this information is not enough. We must be able to implement it and to balance it with the other 4 blocks which make up the Magician's or Witch's Pyramid. I'll stick with Witch's Pyramid for the remainder of the video, rather than speaking about naming both of them. So with the blocks of the Witch's Pyramid are to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent. So we need a good balance of all of these magical blocks to be able to create successful magic. So I will read some of the information which I've prepared, and I also have some information from my Book of Shadows. So I will read a little bit of that as well first, I think, because it may help lay the groundwork, and it may explain a bit more what I've been just mentioning. So the 4 powers of Magus, so that is another name, yet another name for it. So we've got the Witch's Pyramid, the Magician's Pyramid, or the 4 powers of Magus. So that is Magus is just another word for magical practitioner or magician. So the 4 powers of Magus are the personal attributes traditionally necessary and required for the successful use and practice of magic. These are to know, to dare, to will, to be silent. Without these 4 attributes combined, the individual will never be... Without these 4 attributes combined, the individual will never be successful in creating magic. The reasoning is quite simple. None of these attributes mentioned are enough in themselves. All 4 of these attributes must be present to balance each other out. For instance, to know, knowledge is no good without the will and audacity to see magic done. To will, the will is no good without the knowledge and will to see magic done. To be silent, what good are the above without the discretion to remain silent until the magic is done? To reveal magic before it is done dissipates its power and effectiveness. So anyone aspiring to use magic, he or she needs a knowledge of what they are doing and the audacity to use it, the willpower to control it, and the discretion to remain silent till the work is done. Okay, so that is the basis on what I'll be speaking a bit more about. So if we can see there, so the Witch's Pyramid, here we have my handy selenite pyramid. So if we think about magic as a whole, or as a practice, we need 4 blocks. So if we look at this pyramid into 4 blocks, so this is just to illustrate what I'm trying to tell you. So if we look at the pyramid here, I've drawn 4 tiers. So these are our 4 magical blocks, which we need in perfect balance to be able to create our magic. So we need to know. So basically, to know, all 4 of these things are very fundamental, but I feel like to know is the basis. So if we'll place to know at the base, so the other things we can build upon on top of this. So we build the other 3 factors or blocks or tiers, whatever we want to call it. We're going to build the rest of these blocks on top of our knowledge, our magical knowledge. Okay. So to know your clear intention, I wrote this earlier. To know your clear intention, you must know what you want before you can make it happen. This relates to knowledge and understanding of the craft on all levels, from spellcasting to tool mastery, divination, psychic ability, yada yada yada. Any magical aspect, really. Know yourself. So that is an old age adage, which is from ancient times. It comes around again and again, but it is a very important factor. So knowing ourselves, so just tapping into like where the main instrument here. So if you want to create magic, we're kind of working in unison with other factors beside ourselves. So we're working with the elements, we're working with the cross quarters or the quarters, we're working with the deities, we're working with elemental spirits. So we're the instrument in the middle. So to know yourself, before you can tap into these other energies efficiently, you need to be able to pinpoint your own personal power and your own energy. So know yourself, know your craft, continue to learn and apply your knowledge wisely. So so wisdom is another important factor. So that is our first tier on our pyramid. So the first tier is to know. And also the interesting thing is all of these tiers or magical blocks, they do correspond to the elements as well. So to know connects with the element of earth. Who would have thunk it? I would have never have guessed that selenite would be so useful for drawing upon. So instead of using my magical board, instead of using my whiteboard, I'm using my selenite. I'm crazy. So we've got our foundations here. So once we've got our knowledge and we're letting that knowledge blossom into wisdom by putting it into action, then we can move on to the next tier or the next magical block. So we're moving into fire. So the next block is the will, or rather to will, to use your will. So when we're talking about ceremonial magic and ceremonial magicians, you may have heard that to do what thou I can't even talk. Do what thy wilt should be the whole of the law. So that is a quote from Aleister Crowley. So that is in response to the Wiccan Rede or Witch's Rede, which professes and it harm none so much it be. So basically Aleister Crowley is saying that the will should be unhindered, and that is the most important thing, really. The important thing, as I was mentioning, is the balance. So yeah, the will is very important. If you can't focus your will towards a goal, a magical goal, how are you going to make anything happen? Really? As I was saying, we need all of these things in balance. You have the strength of will to manifest your clear intention. You have the strength of will to manifest your clear intention. Without a proper will, magic cannot work. Take control. So taking control, the witch is conducting their life energy, their spells, rituals through use of the ability to raise power, direct and place this power. The will has to do with utter conviction, ability and manifesting magic, believing wholeheartedly in the magic you are creating and the intentions behind it. Basically, it kind of goes into the whole Peter Pan aspect. Like, if you look at the child's book, I believe it's T.M. Barry or something Barry, forgive me, but yeah, it's a Disney movie as well, and also a pantomime from time to time. So basically my point is, for that Peter Pan and the children to have magic, for them to be able to fly, they need to believe that they're able to fly. They need their inspiration and imagination to really soar. So as magical practitioners, we need the same. So if you're doubting yourself, if you're doubting your magic at every corner, at every turn, if you think, I'm going to cast a spell to do this, that and the other, but I really don't think it's going to work, so why are you wasting your time? That is just such a waste of time, because your doubt literally just kills any magic or energy, magical power that you've raised. So really tap into your imagination and your creativity. So when it comes to like making spells as well, like you may not resonate with a spell which you find in a book or you just find on the internet. So if the wording in the spell, if something doesn't feel right for you, so don't just blindly follow that spell. Use your creativity, switch that up a bit, change it. As long as you focus on your intention, then that magic will work. So it doesn't have to be word for word what you've gotten from the internet or gotten from one of the best-selling authors. Your imagination and creativity and the intention behind using that spell, that is the important thing, and that is directing your will. Okay, so on to the next tier. So once we've implemented the earth and fire, or rather the to know and to will, we then move on to dare. Alright, so when it comes to magic, you really do have to be quite, I wouldn't say maybe fearless, but you've really got to just go for it. It's all about just being carefree. Sure, we should put safety measures in place, don't get me wrong, but living a magical existence, being a magical practitioner, it's all about tapping into nature, being one with nature. And do you think that nature thinks twice about creating any of its own magic? Hell no. Do you think nature is frightened by anyone else or put off by anyone or anything else? Hell no. Nature just does what the heck it wants when it wants. So basically, we need the same daring energy that nature itself has to just implement the magic and to balance all of the other blocks and factors correctly. So once you've got the knowledge base, once you've got the flow of directing your energy, then you just need to put that daringness to use by just going for it and doing the magic. So I'll read you what I've written down here. So you dare to do magic and to follow it up with action. So basically, there's a popular saying which has stuck with me for many years since I first started practicing. So basically, the gods will not help those who do not help themselves. So basically, this is to dare this block or this magical block of air into daring. Oh, it rhymes. But it's all about action. So don't just, like, if you want when we're talking about witchcraft and paganism, we're doers. So we do the work. We don't just, this is not Christianity, or no offence if anyone is into that, but we don't just pray to deity or pray to God or to the goddess. We don't just pray to a deity and think that they're going to just do all the work for us, because that's not what witchcraft is about. Witchcraft is about working on all of the planes of existence. So we send the energy out into the universe of what it is we want, and then we work towards getting it on the physical plane as well. So this is tapping into the daring part, or the air energy of this pyramid, the magical witch's pyramid. So we follow up our magical workings with action. You have faith that it will manifest. The power of the mind, you're tapping into your creativity, daring to do magic without fear, daring to invoke with understanding, and trust, daring to experiment, daring to push forward and push boundaries, to experience new things, daring, dare, really just dare anything. Like, there's another popular and beautiful old saying, rushing where angels fear to tread. So if you're a serious magical witch, then yeah, rush in where angels fear to tread, because if you're working in the right way, if you've got your spirit guides, you've got your angels, you've got your ancestors working behind you, then what do you need to be fearful of, really? So dare to go beyond the physical limitations, surrendering to the universe. So yeah, that is another popular way to look at it. So if you look at pop culture and the way they depict witchcraft, like in the Craft movie itself, in that movie, that they receive like ultimate power by surrendering to Manor. So that's by surrendering to deity. So in a way, they do have something right there, because they did consult with practicing witches when they was working on creating that beautiful movie. I love that movie. It's really crazy, and it's not a accurate depiction of witchcraft, because yeah, we don't all go around levitating and using telekinesis, whatever. But sure, don't take me as a naysayer. I'm not saying that if you don't put in the hard work, you may not be able to do that, because we all have our magical and spiritual gifts. So who knows? Maybe that one could be yours. But I'm just saying, pop culture, they make magic look so easy. So levitation, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, cryomancy, whatever you want to call all of these different abilities, they make it look like, oh, if you buy a book from a witch's shop, then you're going to possess these miraculous abilities just by speaking a few words in a book. Come on. But yeah, so the important thing that I was trying to say is just really surrendering to the universe, really having faith. So when you surrender to the universe, it's not just surrendering in a patriarchal way. So not just surrendering to a priest or a deity, surrendering to God, not in that same way, but just surrendering to the universe and moving with action towards it as well. So it's finding the balance between surrendering and action. Because don't get me wrong, praying is such a beautiful thing, and I'm sure prayer is very powerful for a lot of people. And I used to pray all of the time when I was a young Christian. But now I've evolved into using other methods. So travelling to the astral plane, daring to be a part of the cosmic order. So daring to be a light worker, a star seed. So you may be asking, what is this? Like an indigo child, a crystal seed, or crystal child, whatever you want to call them. So some of these terms may be confusing you. So if you don't know about some of these things, then I will be delving into them in other videos. But basically, just daring to be different is another one, and daring to be true to yourself as well. These are all important things. So these are all important parts of this magical pyramid. Letting the universe flow through you, transcending inner fears, perceived barriers, meeting with deities and spirits, being open to ancient wisdom, ruling one's own emotions, and always being equal to any challenge. So this is the daring energy, or the air block magical tier. So we've got earth, fire, air, and then lastly we have water, which I'll talk about now. So the element of water, it is a very mysterious element, and just as being silent is a very important part in our magic and the magical pyramid, or witch's pyramid. So to be silent, basically when we're casting magic, we put all of this time and energy into creating a magical ritual, casting the circle, chanting for however long we do some chanting, energy raising. So there's so much energy going into it, and then we send it off into the void, into the universe. But if we go around like telling every Tom, Dick and Harry that we've cast this magical spell, then every person that we tell about it, we're giving them the opportunity to sap its energy, or to ruin the spell, basically. So the more people you tell about that magic, so basically if you're one of those people who goes around cursing people, that can work in two ways for you. Sure, if you tell someone you've put a curse on them, sure, there is the placebo effect. I talked a bit about this in one of my previous videos. There's a placebo effect, so they would then think that they're cursed. So that does happen sometimes. But if you're someone who really knows how to do this magic, so if you're someone who's really casting a spell on someone else, and you're not relying on the placebo effect, then you don't need to say shit to that person, because you know that you've raised that energy, you've called upon those spirits or ancestors that are gonna work out this shit for you. So basically, if you know that if you're doing your magical workings correctly, then you don't need to tell the other person shit, because you know that will come to fruition, that spell will work. Okay, here about oversharing is how you leak the energy. So privacy and silence is protection. Stop telling people more than they need to know. The less you reveal, the more people can wonder. Forget attention, move in silence, destruction has noise. But creation is quiet, sorry. This is the power of silence. Grow silently, live peacefully, knowing when not to be quiet, and knowing when to divulge what you know. So this is quite interesting, actually, that last sentence, knowing when to divulge what you know. So it comes like with this whole magical, the craft which we're talking about. So the practice of magic, it's interesting. So knowing when to divulge those secrets to other people, because we are talking about the ancient mysteries in a way here. Sure, that the ancient mysteries are a mystery, but we're talking about the foundations here of the ancient mysteries. Our magical practice, that is the foundations, of the pyramid, so to speak. That is another interesting thing to think about. So knowing when to bring someone into the magical secret. So knowing when to share the information. So it's kind of like the Merlin and Vivian aspect. So Merlin, he is the powerful wizard, and he knows all forms of magic and sorcery, and he met a beautiful woman, Vivian. She was very interested in how to be able to create magic. So she twisted Merlin's arm. She used her womanly charms on Merlin, which he was not ready for, or even if he was ready for it, he didn't really want to fight it. So basically, Merlin ended up teaching Vivian the mysteries of his magic. So he practically taught her everything that he knew, and then in the end, Vivian then used what he taught her to imprison him, so he'd never be able to leave her. So it's just interesting. So I know I'm digressing a little bit. I'm going a bit away from the point, but it is making another point, so to speak. But going back to the original point. Okay. So to be silent. So actually, no, I've remembered what my point was. So as magical practitioners, we should be forthcoming with this magical information. We should give it freely to others who need it, who want it. So basically, but just choose your students wisely. Don't just teach everything you know, or don't remember that there is levels in magic spiritual exams, so to speak. So there is different levels for each person to go through. So don't just, if a friend of yours becomes interested in magic, don't just teach them the adept magical practices. So basically, say if a friend of yours is interested in, has just became interested in magic, don't just go straight into aspecting or drawing down the moon or a seance or something like that. Work your way up from the small things. So that's what I'm trying to say. So the point I was trying to make is knowing when to teach someone else what you know, knowing when to divulge your magical secrets. So back to the witch's pyramid. Okay. So to be silent in secrecy. Though you can share your work with other witches, teachers, and like-minded people, because they will not detract from your energy, if they have good intentions, of course. If you're sharing your magic with someone else who has good intentions, who has the same goals as you, who wants those same things for you, then it's fine. You can give that information. So you can let so basically, if you're in a coven, or if you have a very close family member who understands your witchcraft, who understands your spiritual practices, then yeah, you can divulge and tell them that you did a spell of protection, or you did a spell of fertility. Because if that person who you're telling wants those same things for you, then they're not going to detract from the energy. They're not going to harm your magical working in any way. Although if you're just telling it to any Tom, Dick and Harry, if you're meeting someone for the first time and you just tell them that you cast a fertility spell last night, or you cast a protection spell over your house last night, then why are you telling that to a complete stranger for? Because that is completely detracting from the energy of the magical working. Okay. If you lack these like-minded people, so if you don't have close family members, if you don't have coven members who you can tell about your magical secrets, then this is why a lot of witches have grimoires and Book of Shadows. Write your magical experiences in your grimoire, or Book of Shadows, or mirror book. That's what they're there for. Yeah, that is the foundations of the witch's pyramid. So we have all 4 elements in there. So to know is earth, to to will is fire, to dare is air, and to be silent is water. So we need all four of these magical things in a perfect balance, and this creates our witch's pyramid, and this creates our successful magical workings. So good luck to you all. So happy spellcasting and magical practices. I will be coming back with a part 3, I believe. I'm not sure which. I've wrote a couple of ideas for the part 3, so either being a resourceful witch, looking at utilising the witch's tools, so that may be number 3, or tapping into the different types of energies. I feel like that may be a better way to go. But so yeah, part 3 of How Magic Works series will be coming within a few weeks. I'm sorry, I know I said I would release a video 2 within 2 weeks, and this has been like 3 weeks now, so apologies for that, because time just flies by so quickly for me, and I really want to put all of this magical information out there into the universe, because I know there's a lot of people who need it. So thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like, please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and please check back again for the new installments of this series. So I shall be releasing the next video within a few weeks. I'll say a few weeks, so that's in the next 2 to 3 weeks, or sooner if I magically pull some more time out of thin air. So yeah, just very, very busy doing lots of magical and creative and humdrum day jobs as well. So yeah, so I'm putting all of that out in the universe. So thank you for tuning in, and please come back again, and please do put all of this information to good use. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave a comment, and I will try my best to answer them for you. So thank you for tuning in, and brightest blessings, and namaste. So I will soon be uploading some stuff onto Spotify, so feel free to check out my links and give my Spotify channel a follow if you are interested in some music from me as well. Little darling. Hello folks, welcome to the Reuben Lyran Healer chat. Welcome to the Reuben Lyran Healer channel. Lulu will be taking this week's video. Thank you for tuning in. Hello beautiful one.